Well,
All
well,
right.
well, well. Equanimity. Equanimity. We hear a lot about equanimity, huh? Hmm. Yeah, of course, there's a lot of misunderstanding about equanimity. The most common being that equanimity is kind of indifference, you know, almost not caring about something, almost like so detached that there's no connection with it, no interest, no connection, no care. Yeah. And that's not, that's what's called the near enemy of equanimity. Because on the other hand, as we know, we still got this crazy cough. Um, Equanimity is one of the four Brahma Viharas, and it's considered a really refined, really high form of one of the Brahma Viharas, very, very refined state of mind. Um, and when you read the suttas, it's considered to be exalted, immeasurable, yeah, uh, really an uplifted, abundant, exalted, immeasurable state of mind, which is where there's tremendous balance. It's a watching over, but with tremendous balance, and it's not a disregard. It's an even attention to a wider and wider range of what's going on inside and outside. Yeah. Now, in its ultimate form, it's almost discouraging to think about because we're not nowhere close to it. I mean, we can experience equanimity in short periods of time around a particular situation and be relatively balanced. But the equanimity that they're going for in Buddhism is one where no matter what happens, praise or blame, gain or loss, all the worldly winds, steady, just steady and balanced, you know, through all of that. We're so far from that. We're far from that. Yeah, we're far from that. But it doesn't mean that we can't incline in that direction slowly, like everything else. Let's say, there are levels and layers. These are gradual practices. It's not now I'm not equanimous. Now I'm equanimous. No, it's over time. There's a little bit more equanimity. It's moving into my practice and into my life a little bit more than it used to, which means basically not reacting quite as dramatically. A lot of equanimity, or the beginning of equanimity, is simply not reacting quite as dramatically on either end of the two spectrums, either by wanting something so much, I want it so much, or disliking something so much, with that strong aversion. It's finding some balance in the middle. Yeah, yeah. Not perfectly, but it's inclining in that direction. Now, Susan and I have been we've been doing, I'd like to call it's not a spring cleaning, it's a fall cleaning. It's like a 10-year clean. We've been going through all of our notes and paperwork for years and years and years and years. And I found this and I thought, oh, this is perfect for equanimity. So I'm going to read this off this little scrap of paper. You ever write your little notes on these little scraps of paper, and tuck them away somewhere for future reference? Well, this is the future reference. And it's a poem, and it's called The Teaching. But it's relevant in like highlighting one of the steps toward developing equanimity. All these things we have to see as stepwise, not how do I get there? No, but here's a step, here's a baby step. It's called The Teaching. It's a poem by Red Hawk. So it's called The Teaching. It is as old as the stones. It came with humans to the earth, and it offers them a way out of the web of sorrows, but at a price. We must observe ourselves, our behavior, our inner and outer responses objectively. This means without taking a personal interest or doing anything about the horrors which self-observation uncovers. Like a bad boy with a stick overturning a stone and finding a mass of crawling things beneath, but he refrains from stomping on them. Boy, this is powerful. And it's very much in the direction, part of the direction of the practice. I'm just going to read the last part of it. The cost, there's a way out of the web of sorrows, but at a price. And this is part of what the Buddha is pointing to. There is a way, but here's the cost. We must observe ourselves, our behavior, our inner and outer responses objectively. This means without taking a personal interest or doing anything about the horror which self-observation uncovers. Like a bad boy with a stick overturning a stone and finding a mass of crawling things beneath, but he refrains from stepping on them. Yeah. Now, this is why it takes a while to cultivate equanimity, because there are some things that we continue to want to ban from the kingdom, throw out, imagine that they're not part of me, that shouldn't be there, got to get rid of them. In other words, we're still stomping on parts of ourselves, parts of our experience. Yeah. We're still self-critical. We're still judgy. We're still hating. We're still disliking strongly some things about ourselves, about others, about the world. Yeah. We have strong reactions. Yeah. Yeah. Inside and outside. And it takes a while. It's a gradual practice. Equanimity is a gradual practice of finding some place of balance. First some place of balance where around things that are easier to find some balance around. At first, and then gradually finding balance with the difficult things that we have not particularly let in, that we have not yet welcomed, that we have not yet seen as part of the ecosystem. Yeah? When we start to see this as one ecosystem, we're not going to want to stomp on parts of it. No? When we start to see this mind, heart, and body as one amazing ecosystem, where everything somehow has its place and it's right to be there, we're not going to stomp on so many things. Yeah. So I found this other thing on another scrap of paper. This is the place where we start. First, we cultivate a halting environment. First, we try to settle a little bit, calm a little bit. This is from the gradual sayings of the Buddha. This one. The Buddha says, suppose there is a pot of water, turbid, stirred up and muddied, just so a turbid mind. Suppose there is a pool of water, pure, tranquil, and unstirred, where a man can see oysters and shells, pebbles and gravel, and schools of fish. Just so the untroubled mind. Now, gradually, we want to move in that direction, from the trouble to the untroubled. That's what we're working on, calming down restlessness a little bit, so we can start to see a little bit more clearly, and a little bit more calmly, right? What's going on? Great. The pebbles and the fish and the oysters and the schools of fish. What happens when a barracuda swims by, though, or a shark? Oh, not that. I want the schools of fish, the pebbles, the oysters, the sand, right? We know how to be equanimous there first. Gradually, equanimity develops so that even the rougher stuff, gradually has a right to be there. That stuff that hasn't gone away yet, the parts of ourselves that we don't like that haven't gone away yet, right? Gradually, we start to open to those, make room for those, be less troubled by those. The Buddhist peace of mind is not the peace of mind where those difficult things go away and never come back. That's not what the Buddha taught. What he taught was we become less reactive to and make a different relationship with, a more equanimous relationship with those things that we've never wanted to make any relationship with at all, either in the world or in our own hearts, in our own psyches. Yeah? And that's just the direction of the practice. And that's where gradual equanimity is gradual. But one of the first steps is not stepping on things. Just not stepping on things. The two big step, the two big, noticing when you're really stepping on something and noticing when you're really grabbing something. I want that so much. Those are the two extremes. Those are the two extremes. And gradually it's appreciative awareness of a wider range with more balance, moving in that direction. Slowly but surely. Yeah? Yeah. Mm. Okay. That's it. Yeah, it's just smoothing out. It's just smoothing out. It's smoothing out our relationship to a wider range of phenomena. And we're smoothing it out, smoothing it out, smoothing it out. Thank you for your kind attention. Let's practice together. Okay. So opening up a little bit. When you're ready, slowing it down, lightly closing the eyes. And orienting towards settling. And softening, softening the breath. Softening the attitude. I bring a little more curiosity, a little more mm, receptivity. Right when the mind goes drifting, and you notice that, that's the willingness to return to the present moment, to the next breath, as if to something precious. as if there is more to be revealed there if you give it your full attention. softening and allowing, making room. As if each thing had a right to be there. And the last few minutes of the meditation.